Here's the problem today. People think you can just dance for 6 months and then think you should be getting paid to do it. I'm one of the dancers that bodied the 90s. There's not too many things you can be listening to and watching when it comes to that artist and dance thing that I'm not going to pop up. You can be in the industry without becoming the industry. You can be in the street dance world without becoming street. And that starts with, who are you in this art form? And if you don't know that, then you will blow with the wind.
What's up, everybody? My name is Jackie Miss Funk, repping Versatile Street Dance Company, and here we are with the Legends and Legacy podcast, and we have the one and only Sho-Tyme in the house.
What's good?
This amazing artist, young man, friend. I've had the honor of knowing him for over a decade already. His contributions go beyond belief, and no better way than to get to know him through this podcast. And I couldn't help but want to interview you. We heard you were in LA, and I'm like, we need to interview this guy. Let's get him going. And Breeze made it happen, and here we are, Sho-Tyme. So
But you gotta
thank you so much.
You gotta say what you said before. I'm here, so you was trying to use me.
I told him, you're here, and every time you're here, we try to use you. Meaning, I like to.
I'm just playing.
No, but there's truth to that in a sense of not use, but connect.
No, we wash each other's hands. That's
exactly.
Yeah.
I love that you're saying that. Anytime you're here, he's either taught classes, he gets down with us. We've done videos together.
I forced him to do that, by the way.
And more than anything, I just forever grateful for your advice and your support for Versatile Street Dance Company. You've known Breeze and I since the beginning of this. And I remember being this young artist at the time. I'm still young, but younger. Taking your class and just feeling completely inspired and moved to know that there's still people out there and folks out there, particularly choreographers and dancers in the industry, that still honor the dance and the groove and the essence of hip hop and street dance. So when I found your class, I don't know if you remember little old me, I was in the back getting down, trying to keep up with you.
He wasn't in the back. He was somewhere in the middle.
Somewhere in the middle?
Yeah.
I try to shine.
Yeah. You are shining.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. But seriously, welcome.
Look at it from then to now. I'm sitting here, we talking about stuff that I've done, but it should be the other way around.
Well, we'll do that one day. I'll take that note, actually.
Because we on the West Coast.
Hey.
Y'all doing it big on the West Coast, so somebody else need to be in that chair, and you need to be over here.
Thank you. I will take note of that. You're right, especially if we're doing a Legends and Legacy with Versatile, But with that said, let's just get started. You're our guest today, Sho-Tyme. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Like I told you, we had some other great artists like Damita Joe Freeman and Hugo. And when we heard you were here, I'm like, I want to just hear your story. And there might be things that I know already, but this is really for the public, for our audience and our community. Especially that, Breeze and I were so involved in the educational system too, I want folks to just get a little essence. In an hour, they only could get so much from you, but it's a great way for them to just maybe just hear your aspect and who you are. So with that said, I have a few questions maybe to get started, but if you want to have a conversation in the midst of that, I'm open to that. Where are you from? Where were you born? How did you get into hip hop and street dance?
From New York. I'm from Queens, New York, Far Rockaway to be exact. And pretty much how I got into hip hop, I was living it before I even knew that, it was going to be what it is. So my origin is a bit different from many others today. People are still learning it while this whole time I've been living it. So that pretty much ties up the origin of how I got into it. I was just living it, didn't even know it.
Wow, that's amazing. But that explains why you're so natural at it. I'm a big fan, Sho-Tyme. So not just of your class, but I'll go a little in there later with all the success you've had in the industry and the different artists you've danced to. But I say that because when I see you dance, there was this natural ability to you. It's just so in your body. So when you talk about origins, right? You know, maybe are there some folks' names that people just don't know of that maybe influence you in ways that you want to echo their name, or how did they maybe lead you to this trajectory?
Well, I would first go back to one of the things that I feel like some of my generation maybe, stepped away from, or maybe they never made a connection, which is when we, let me just speak for myself. When I started doing it, right, it wasn't about anything superficial. It was just what my surroundings was, leading me to do. And the music, I was driven by the music. And when you're doing it from the heart and it's a lifestyle, you don't know where it's gonna go because you're so engulfed it in infusing your lifestyle, what you're going through. So that's why to this day I hold on to that. It doesn't matter who I've worked with. It doesn't matter where I dance. Every time I dance, it's gonna be in a reflection of me, and I pretty much can care less about what the public, the masses, or anybody say because every time I dance, I'm writing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, and if you don't know my life, you'll just be looking at the movement and then place your perspective on what that is. So for me, um, it doesn't matter the setting. It's just a part of me in that particular moment that I'm expressing, and I've held on to that. People can talk about success. They can talk about accolades and what you've done in the industry and all of this stuff, or in the street dance world. But for me, what I've held on to, which is my reward, is never, sidestepping how I got into it and why I was doing it and what it was doing for me. Because when you live in the street life and you're living in those particular type of circumstances, which I won't, go into, to be able to come off the block
Yeah.
with, a beautiful art form like this, it's hard for me to just be like, forget about why and how I got here. When it comes to names, I'm gonna always mention Fendi, and he's another incredible dancer from Far Rockaway that I first saw. He was also in the hood in the projects, and all of us pretty much living the same life. But then I saw him on TV, and I was, dancing for Albie Shore and Father MC and different people. And I never wanted to be on TV because the hood is what I was living. So dancing in parties, and the projects, the hallways. If anybody from the projects, already know what that looks like. Because I couldn't dance in the house because my grandmother she wasn't having that. So we had to find some place, to get our boogie on. So going through all of that, that's that was props for me. That was real props. Just being in the hood dancing and representing around the way, having people in the neighborhood give you props for, your circle game and all that stuff. And then eventually transcended into a career. But the origin stays with me because I can never forget where I came from.
That's a beautiful message.
Yeah.
I mean, that's something you could even just write a book on just that.
Yeah. You can.
I feel people forget quickly their origin,
Yeah.
especially when they get a little essence of fame
Mm-hmm.
and success, especially now with social media and this phone.
Mm-hmm.
Success means a whole other thing. People
Mm-hmm.
are like chasing that success and want that so bad,
Mm-hmm.
and not really have proven them ways that you have, and yet you don't hold on to that.
Yeah.
All you're saying is like stick to your origins and your people and where you're from,
Mm-hmm.
and that's something you carry throughout.
I was fortunately raised by some good people that did bad things,
I hear you.
but the message is clear, and it's never to chase anything superficial. You know what I'm saying? If you're gonna put your life into something, it needs to be something that's worth it. And if it starts to become money, money come and go. Awards, all that stuff that come and go. Now today's social media, one minute somebody like you, next minute they don't. So is your life going to keep changing? If aspects of your life is going to keep changing because of one thing that come and go, or do you just hold on to something that's real and rock with that?
Is this something like you're dropping wisdom now, right? Is this something you feel you knew in your 20s and 30s when you were dancing professionally? Or is this something that now, you're just based on all your experiences, you've reflected more?
Definitely, it has increased over the years. But what I did, I took the street knowledge and applied it. Once I started understanding, you know, the same language that people was using in the streets, it was being used in dance settings. Just they was had these big funny words that you didn't really
I'm
learn.
sure it was funny to you, especially.
And it's like, oh, I know what you're saying. Like, oh, I get it. So that's what helped me understand. Okay, I need to really apply what I've been getting on the block and around the way, and I just need to do it, in a very, smart way because, if you don't know, you can easily, get taken advantage of. And I've got some experiences where I have been taken advantage of because I didn't know everything. So I will say this really quick. I was blessed to have, an elder sit me down and pull me out of being violent in certain settings, which that's another topic. But and he gave me some advice, and it was really, really strong advice. He said, the best weapon to use, your best tool to use, not weapon, but your best tool to use moving forward in dance. And he pointed to his ears. That was kind of weird. And he said, hear and take in everything. And he said, next one is your eyes. See it all. Keep this closed.
Boom. Well, I think that is the ending of this podcast. I will let people walk away just with that and digest. Did you guys just hear that?
You
Wow,
know what I'm
that's a
saying?
that's
Because
that's
so
amazing advice.
your eyes and ears will work best for you, over what your mouth, you know,
And right now it's
can do.
backwards.
Yeah,
Right now the mouth is running off with a lot
it's
of folks,
crazy.
especially on
It's
Instagram and
crazy.
social media, where they want to speak and then they
It's
see
crazy.
you and they
It's
act like they
crazy.
didn't write anything,
Well,
right?
yeah, you know what
That's a
that
whole
is.
other deal. Wow, you have so much wisdom to share, and this is why we interviewing folks like you.
Yeah.
People don't get the depth
Hmm.
of that, and wow, even me, I'm very like I got moved right now. For one moment, I hold your tears, Jackie, hold your tears, because I relate to some
Uh-huh.
extent.
Uh-huh.
I can't say I was about completely that street life, but being raised with immigrant parents and a dad that was, not the best of examples, but yet my
Hmm.
best example, if that makes sense. It
Hmm.
both exist.
Hmm.
There was this survival mechanism that existed, this resilience
Hmm.
that's very attached to this lifestyle,
Hmm.
which is very also very attached to the culture in hip
Hmm.
hop and street dance. If you look at it from its this authenticity, I could see you cracking up, then being in the industry, being like, "Oh, people trying to do this," and you're like, "I live this,"
Yeah.
and
It's crazy because there's a lot of times I had to hold my tongue because I didn't want those buttons to be pushed. But a lot of people didn't know, like, before I actually stepped foot in the industry, a lot of people didn't know what my foot was stepping out of.
yeah,
And so when caged up, you know, and getting hit with a bid that, that takes away a lot of your life, once you get out, you like, okay, I understand now. I
yeah,
understand that I can't allow anything to just ruin the whole operation. So I got to use this now, and I use this now, and I gotta keep my hands in my pocket.
yeah.
And
But
if
I
I
think you're
if I
definitely at a
if
point where you could, say what you need to say too now.
if I keep my hands in my pocket, only time I pull them out is to shake a hand.
It's a good thing. I'm glad. Glad we're there.
But to be honest, like if it wasn't for God, not kind of, but just being over me to keep me out of certain circumstances, I just wouldn't be here. To be honest, you know what I mean. Like I can talk about my experience in dance and how I came up, all that, but honestly speaking, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for God. So, but
I hear you.
you know, looking at the people that came before me, when I say came before me, they were active on, in production and stuff like that. I was always clubbing. I just wasn't clubbing in the popular places. And I will say this, you don't need to be in the popular places to be seen. You know what I'm saying?
Say that again.
You can be on your own scene.
I
You know what I'm
agree.
saying?
It
And for
doesn't make you
me,
irrelevant. Like
nah. A lot of
you're
people
there.
rock. Like, a lot of people rock with, this popular scene. Oh, you wasn't seen because you wasn't here. It's like I was seen somewhere else, but I didn't see you there.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So I think people put emphasis on landmarks and all of that, and not looking at exactly what a person's been doing. They don't take time to learn a person's background to see what type of work they've been doing in dance and why they approach it a different way.
Yeah.
Because as dancers, if you don't have some sort of, life connection to it, then the question is, why are you doing it? And then what does it mean? And you can be about getting that money, you know what I'm saying? And okay, if that's your thing, that's your thing. I won't judge because on the block I was about getting money.
Yeah.
So I get that. But it sets you apart when it's a life message connected to the dance. And that's what the culture of hip hop is supposed to be about.
Yeah.
I think we kind of got away
Man,
from that.
you are dropping so many gems right
You asked me
now.
to come here, so
Exactly. But I love that.
oh,
I
here's some
think thank you
stuff.
for sharing that. I think that's why you're here.
Yeah.
Again,
Hmm.
you're right. Like if you don't share your story, somebody else will. And people have done that in their own shape, way, or form, you
Hmm.
know. But yet your contributions and what you've done are significant in my opinion. And as Lee and I have gotten older and done our own research,
Hmm.
we realize that all stories matter. It's
Hmm.
just not all stories get the mic.
Hmm.
Not all stories got the front, like the
Hmm.
screen or got that shine.
Hmm.
But if we go deep into it, you start seeing all the little missing factors
Hmm.
because those are the things we just didn't see at the forefront. And
Hmm.
that's why Lee and I, throughout these 20 years, we've tried to cultivate relationships with so many
Hmm.
because we know your story matters.
Hmm.
We know what you experience at Queens matters.
Hmm.
How could it not?
Hmm.
So thank you for bringing that up because I think right now many artists and dancers deal with that in their own way.
Hmm.
If they're not in a specific place or have so many, now it's like if I don't have so many followers, maybe I'm not as significant.
Hmm.
But no, let me just slow down and say you are.
Hmm.
It's just keep at it, the consistency behind it, you
I
know.
think that's why y'all doing a good job because I see so many, kids coming from different neighborhoods, and y'all probably will hear their stories at some point, and some point they probably just conceal them because they're so engulfed with having fun. Now they got this outlet, so they don't feel like they need to talk about whatever they was going through in their households or in their hoods or whatever. But the turnaround that y'all, have with, giving back to the community, you know, I think people, especially out here on the West Coast, they need to recognize that and see and give y'all props because everybody is chasing a particular bag, but they're not seeing the real deal. They're not even seeing. Some people now don't even know what's in the bag.
You're telling me. I mean, I definitely want to do a podcast where it's just me and Lee talking about it.
Ooh.
Because, yeah, I've seen the trajectory of not only
I
kids
think Lee is
coming,
gonna go off.
right? But there's a lot of truth we had.
Right,
And
right,
at the end of the day, I think the only reason Lee and I have come this far is because it's the consistency of showing up.
right.
Doing the work is hard and
Hmm.
it's been humbling. And I can't say it's been perfect,
Hmm.
right? But God, I know every year we only keep getting better and better
Hmm.
because we fill in the holes where it's needed.
Hmm.
But working with our communities, specifically the Black, Indigenous, Brown communities, God, there's so many holes and lack of resources. So you could
Hmm.
only imagine the many times Lee and I were social workers, therapists, teachers. We were anything but dance teachers.
Hmm.
So thank you for saying that
Hmm.
because I know at the end of the day, real sees real in that,
Yeah, of
and
course.
thank you because I
Yeah,
also think you've gone through your set
yeah,
of things for
yeah,
you to be here as well.
yeah.
So with that said, because do want people to know a little bit more about you in the sense of your work, what was your, I would say, your first breakthrough? What was your first gig that
Mhm.
set the trajectory where like, wait, I think I'm doing this without even planning it? Because clearly that was your story. You didn't even plan that.
Right.
But what was the first door opener of an artist or an experienced production that you're like, wow, I think this is what I'm going to do for quite some time?
Okay. I'm about to date myself a little bit.
It's all good.
um,
He's 25, everyone. Let's be clear.
um, okay, my first dance opportunity came with an artist by the name of Father MC, and he's also from Far Rockaway, Queens. And long story short, I didn't know about. I never even heard of the word audition. I never knew about dance studio. I never knew there was a place you can go that had mirrors. I never heard of the word choreographer. I never know people counted movement. I'm just straight from the hood. If we did do a routine, we would say ready, set, go. That's that's how we did it. You know what I'm saying? So all that to get to is he was having an audition and he needed one dancer and one male dancer and everybody in the neighborhood, I knew him and a lot of people, yo, you should go try out. Okay, let me go. And I went. I actually got the spot. Now we rehearsing for about. I'm sorry, Father MC. I gotta tell it the way it is, but she asked the question. I gotta tell my story. So we rehearsed for like 3 weeks, and now they're about to go on to like a big Uptown MCA tour. So mind you, I've been clubbing and house party in the hood. This is like first professional job. So like 3 weeks into rehearsal, learning the show. Now it's about 2 days before the show is about to go. The road manager come to me and was like, hey, yo, father, he like everything going on or whatever. He want everybody to have the same image, and you know he wants you to cut your hair. I had twisties back at the time, right? And so my street instincts kicked in because I knew I auditioned as a dancer, not no hair model. So I was like, what? He was like, yeah, it's just hair. He want, everybody to have the same image. He want, everybody to have the same, cut as him. And I was like, it wasn't computing. It wasn't registering to me because I was confused. That language was, all I know is you was trying to get me to do something I didn't want to do. That's all I heard.
Yeah.
And so now I'm reacting to that. So he gave me all the industry talk. It's just hair to grow back. You don't want to be that guy that don't make certain moves or whatever. For the job and all. He was just giving me all of that, and my spider senses was on full blaze, and I didn't have a political way of answering. So I pretty much gave a lot of curse words, and I quit.
Ugh.
Like my first big job ever, like Uptown
Wow.
MCA, Father MC, Jodeci, Mary J. It was a big, huge situation, and I was like, I quit, and that was my start.
Please tell me they called you back.
No, I no, no. He out here in LA, I think somewhere. Sometimes I see him, and I just look at him like, mm-hmm.
So you walked away
Yeah,
and you were content, you were
yeah,
fine.
yeah.
And that was the beginning of
That was the
your
beginning of my career, and then I didn't know what to do from there. And then, um, cut through some of the story, I ended up getting a job through credible dancer who passed away a few years ago, named Keith Williams, and he was doing something I believe with Lisa,
wow.
and I jumped on board with that. So yeah.
That was your first then
I
major
think that was
gig
my
that you
first
fulfilled.
major gig that I didn't have. I just had to learn how he danced, and as far as like my image and all that stuff, I had to switch none of that up because back in that day it was okay to have twisties, and if you had blonde twisties or black and blonde, it was okay to have them funny hairstyles. But
Yeah, yeah.
so I was all the way over there.
Congrats.
Yeah,
I mean, it's
and then
amazing.
from there went to CNC Music Factory, and then it just kept.
Tell me more about that.
Well, CNC Music Factory, they're the reason why I actually got my first passport. Like, I'm a hood cat. We don't talk that language,
Yeah.
You
You got
see, they
passport.
in the school they give you the map. You go Europe, yeah, whatever. Going to Europe. The next thing you know, you're on a plane going to Europe, going to these. They're the reason why I went to so many different countries in the world, like as a youngin'.
Wow.
Yeah. And so when you're dancing to gonna make you sweat, rock and roll, and all of that, you have to have an extra battery pack to. Them songs are like 5 minutes long. And back then, choreography wasn't so intricate as what it is now. You just did a lot of big movement
Yeah.
a bunch of times.
Over and over and
Over
over.
there, over there. Then you use that same step to get over to this side. Then you turn around and do it. Yeah, it was a
I
lot.
mean, I think I know if Breesley was here, he would relate a lot to that. Just this morning we had this rehearsal and he's like, y'all can't be done after 30 minutes. He's like, we need to keep
Yeah,
pushing. But there is a truth and a testament to that,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
On how you just kept pushing and
yeah,
showing up in a
yeah,
physical way that
yeah.
is pretty admirable.
And so with that job, it made me feel like, you know what, I can do it. I can do this.
Wow.
Yeah. And then from that job, it led to me doing another one where I met the elder that I spoke about. Because I was dancing for Martha Wash from the Weather Girls.
Okay.
Do you know that song? It's raining, man. Right? Okay, peep game. I gotta tell you the story.
Tell me.
I didn't know what the song meant, right? And I just thought, she like men. So I didn't know, that it was a huge, you know, like she had a huge gay following, right? And I didn't really have an understanding of
No clue.
no clue. All I know, we, well, I'm telling some stuff over here.
It's your story.
All I know, that's why I got sat down and said, you need to stop fighting and you need to stop putting your hands on people because I didn't understand that world. And that's when he sat me down and gave me the gems and said, you got to use this and this. Keep this closed. Keep your hands
Yeah.
to yourself.
I mean, God, just already from the little bit that you share with me, no, you had no guidance.
No.
You clearly just jumped into this whole new world
Hmm.
with no guidance whatsoever. You just happen to be a very talented man.
Right. Well, I mean, I
And
thank God for that because one, I did the guidance. Like, when I'm gonna go back to the people on the block, they all, they all
it's a different kind of
thugs,
guidance.
thugs, and you know what I'm saying. So and killers and stuff. So I can't go to them and be like, yo, how should I handle this? They gonna.
I'm sure they were upset that you went. I'm assuming with the way you grew up, I'm sure they were even looking at you like, why are you doing that
Nah,
still?
they actually supported it because they said he's getting out.
That's amazing.
And so they
It
actually
was.
said anybody that if you got any problems in the industry, so you won't ruin it, let us handle that. But then the way they would handle things, I would like not tell them stuff because I'm
Yeah.
like y'all will go too far,
Yeah.
and it's
You
not
just
that
didn't want that
serious.
problem. Yeah.
So I just had to find ways of dealing with it. So you're right, I didn't have no guidance because certain people were okay with certain things, so I couldn't go to them and be like, what should I do about this? I had to
Wow.
do this.
There was a lot of give and take with you, a
Yeah,
lot of adjusting.
yeah.
I mean,
But the way
I
they treated the dancers, you know what I'm saying? Because you coming out of the hood and you go, wait, I can get paid for this, even though it was like $75. Because we were paying. Here's the problem today: people think, and this is for everybody out here doing it. People think you can just dance for 6 months and then think you should be um, getting paid to do it, and then I'm gonna go get a teaching job because this time I'm gonna make money. Back in the days, we had regular jobs, whatever our hustle was, to pay to get in the clubs, to pay to get a cool outfit to wear so you can impress the honeys or whatever the case may be, or just look fly going into the club. Now it's like so many people think their source of income have to be dance, where they don't have something else on the side to properly invest in the dance so that they can become better dancers or better teachers or choreographers or whatever they want to be or whatever. They just dive in 6 months and be like, I need to start making some bread.
mm. And it's a perfect testament of whether you love it or you don't, though.
Yeah.
I think and if you love it, you will find all means,
Mm-hmm.
especially with the background that you come from and a lot of folks come from.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's why you value dance so much more. I know I do. I know
Yeah.
I had to
Yeah. Yeah.
work. I know to
Yeah.
go and learn from wherever I had to learn from. I had to pay my
Mm-hmm.
ticket to go there, let
Mm-hmm.
alone the work that went behind
Yeah.
that hustle.
Yeah.
I think you're right. There's something now where a lot of young artists and dancers just take,
Mm-hmm.
and they think it just comes out easily.
It's a lot going on with that because if you can train under somebody for 6 months and then go off teaching, I think you're with the wrong teacher.
Yeah, yeah. But now we're at a time like, yeah, you're with the wrong teacher, but Lord forbid if the teacher says something because then you're wrong and you're hurting their feelings, and
Well, yeah, it's very
then you
emotional
get
out here.
canceled.
People are very, very emotional. But you got to understand, why are you emotional? Are you fronting? And your fronting is getting called out? That's why you're emotional?
Right?
You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
there's a lot of people teaching and don't understand exactly what that
Yeah,
means.
there's a lot of people
Yeah.
teaching, and I will say it. Teaching hip hop and street dance, that should not be teaching.
Yeah.
It's its own craft.
Yeah.
I always say, people have told me like, what do you have to do to be a teacher? I always say at least 10 years.
Man, when I when
People
I
think it's funny, but I wholeheartedly think of it.
when I first saw some in New York, I was at some studio, and I saw these dancers, the ballet dancers, and I was like, are they in rehearsal or something? Like, why do y'all dress the same? He's like, no, that's what they got to wear to come to take. I was like, they taking class? Look, they like rehearsing for something. Like, nah. And when heard that you can be training for 10 plus years and then audition to get into a company and they still tell you no, I was like, whoa. What happened to hip hop? Anybody can just get in.
That's
You
the
know what I mean?
problem, though.
So,
That's been the big problem in this industry,
and,
especially.
and then there's certain policing aspects of the dance, but then some of them are policing it for the wrong reason because they're afraid somebody else is outshining them and got something to offer that they don't have to offer. Why are you shaking your head? You know I'm telling the
No,
truth.
I know, no, I'm shaking because I'm agreeing with you. Actually, I'm a
Yeah.
big believer that
Yeah.
there's room for all of us too.
Oh yeah, it is.
There's
Yeah.
room. You just gotta, the right thing will come at the right time. And
Yeah.
and honestly, I'm saying that to myself, you guys. I don't always feel this way, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm reminded of that, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm lucky where I have a partner and husband who reminds me of that, and vice versa. We
Mm-hmm.
do that for each other. So going back to the industry and the work you've done, uh, I know you're a very successful dancer, artist, freestyler, but I also know you choreographed and directed a lot. So,
Mm-hmm.
what was your first choreography job?
I was doing like I I came in with a lot of ideas because I come from a freestyle background.
Mm-hmm.
So I was just doing stuff and I didn't know how to structure anything. And that's why I had to use this and see what is that, how does that work? Are you putting that to the chorus? Okay. All right, got it. I had to figure all of that out. So I was all coming in with these ideas. I was kind of I didn't know I was being an assistant or additional choreography, and I guess they kept those titles from me because they didn't have to pay me. So, um, but I was just happy to like get some my input
Of
in
course,
there.
of course.
But when I say when I first took control of a project and was creatively, driving it, I would say Maya.
I mean, you worked with Maya.
Yeah, when she was 18 years old.
I remember that.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm a big fan of Maya. Thank you for letting me introduce myself to her that last time. It was a while ago. Little does she know I'm like this little fan. Like, oh my God, Maya. I think her and I are the same age. That's my era. But that's amazing. How
Yeah,
did you get into that?
I was I was dancing for Aaliyah at the time.
Let's say that again. Say that
See,
again.
she's setting these questions. She knows what she's doing. She's a good interviewer. I was dancing with Aaliyah at the time, and that was just going well. But then when the Maya project was coming my way, and they were giving me control over it, I looked at that as okay. I'm climbing a ladder, and I don't really know. I didn't know that the ladder was there to climb, but it just instead of just being a dancer, I had some creative choreography infused with Aaliyah as well, because the actual person that was hired to be the choreographer, she wasn't really choreographing. It was all of the dancers that was throwing in their steps, and she just took the credit. You know who you are.
Which is still happening right
Yeah.
now, just so you know.
And I'm not bitter about it because like you said, it's still happening. It's unfortunate, but hopefully somebody will make a change, or somebody like me will speak about it. Maybe they'll, chill out with that nonsense. But anyway, when they approached me with the Maya job, I looked at it, and when I found out the details of, you know, what I was going to be doing, I actually went straight to Aaliyah. because we were at that point like I became like a big brother to her and
Yeah.
was very close. I wanted to pay her the respects and say, yo, I got offered this job and I'm not just dancing and doing additional choreography. I'm gonna be running it. And she said, who? I said, Mya. She knew who she was. She was like, and we hugged it out. She was like, okay, that's cool. And what's crazy is a few days later, after me telling her, I accepted the job with Mya and all of that. And then we moving around, not a few days, but a little while later, we had Alley Cat rehearsing for the best of me. And Leah was right in the next room rehearsing for Try It Again.
Oh my God, you've been
Yeah,
around some very
yeah,
influential entertainers.
yeah.
Show.
And she had no problem with it at all. She was actually happy for me that I was moving away from dancing with her to take a bigger role.
Well, I just want to stop real quick. I think the beauty of that, and that's something I think many of us artists can learn from, and Lee and I are big on that. The fact that you asked
Mm-hmm,
and that you communicated.
mm-hmm,
There was nothing shady behind
mm-hmm,
it. And there's many people that do that.
mm-hmm,
People don't know how to like pay homage and respect in a way like, thank you for what you did,
mm-hmm,
but I have this. What do you think? Let's talk. They're
mm-hmm,
human beings too.
mm-hmm.
They invested in you, not to say they own you,
Right.
but it's like this conversation and that you had like this, you had this awareness to know to communicate that. How did you get that? Is that from the streets, you would
Well,
say?
yeah, because you when you actually have real love for a person, you know you deal with them differently.
Yeah.
They you don't look at them as an op where I can care less about what you think because you're my op. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So with her, it was so much real friendship. I really viewed her as a younger sister, and it was easy to talk to her.
Yeah.
It was easy to talk to her. It was easy to take that to her, and not be afraid because you established such a good open conversation and communication with them that you respect one another. And
I
so
mean, thank
she
you for your
made yeah,
contribution, Show.
yeah, yeah.
I want to know what Aaliyah video did I not watch and get influenced by her essence?
Mm-hmm,
Because it was I mean I'm a huge Janet Jackson, Michael Jackson fan. If you're
mm-hmm,
a dancer, you are automatically, I think.
mm-hmm,
But Aaliyah was this whole a different aura,
mm-hmm,
hip hop in a
mm-hmm,
way that just was different in videos,
mm-hmm.
and to know that you were a big part of that, I think. I hope you know the trajectory and pathway you provided for dancers. I think a lot of dancers are doing this and not having any idea.
Yeah, and that's cool because it's
Yeah, it
it's
is.
it's 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 great when they do come into the knowledge of, oh, 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 and they get a nice little history lesson. It's probably a crash course, but
It
it's
is.
cool. But I don't think anybody should be doing it for to be glorified because once again, it ties back to why I was doing it.
Wow.
So
Yeah, you're
that's
right.
I never abandoned that. So that's why I can't run around and wanting everybody to see me.
So here you have this Maya experience. What
Hmm.
was your next big directing slash choreography experience that you're like that people wouldn't know?
I
I
don't
mean,
know
I
what
know a few, but I just thought I asked.
I don't know what came next, but I know this may sound a little, cocky, but I'm a New Yorker, so
That's okay.
please just
You're
understand.
in that mode where you can. You've put in your time.
I'm one of the dancers that bodied the '90s, so it's not too many things you can be listening to and watching when it comes to that artist and dance thing that I'm not gonna pop up. It's
Yeah,
other it's other out there as well, but
absolutely.
I'm one of them that when you go back and look at the golden era of the '90s, there you go again.
There's that guy.
There
There's
you go.
Show.
There you go.
There's Show.
So I'm thankful to be coming into that era, like dancing before that, but then things taking off right in that prime spot of the music industry,
Hmm.
all the way up into like early 2000s. So I don't know what came exactly after that, but um, Salt and Pepper, uh, TLC, um,
I'm a little fond of the story because I know him a little bit, you guys.
What?
But when you share your story when you work with Gwen
Oh,
Stefani and your ideas and how you brought these dancers together,
oh yeah.
maybe give us a little on that. Because to me, that was different. When you think of Gwen Stefani, to me, she was very a pop artist in a whole
Mhm.
other way. You know,
Mhm.
Mya, Aaliyah, you
Mhm.
know, Salt and Pepper still had like this hip hop
Mhm.
essence.
Yeah.
To me, Gwen Stefani was like complete, especially when she
Right.
went solo, right?
Right. Right. Right.
And then here you come, and I'll let you.
Yeah. So now you got my wheels turning. So definitely, when it goes back into that era, we're talking about Buster. We're talking about Little Kim. We're talking about Foxy Brown. We really understand when you look at Crush on You. Then you see some of the female artists today. You go, hmm, oh wow, it's a little robbery over there. You know what I mean? So that leads all the way up to, and all of this, these hip hop and R&B artists that you're working with leads up into, you run into this huge pop artist like Gwen, and she's coming fresh out of No Doubt
Yeah.
into a solo career. And there's a little backstory, but I'll save it for another day of how I actually took control over the project. But it was some nonsense going on with that as well, but not with her, but someone else.
Got
So getting that job and hearing her concept, and having this vision, and she wanted, you know, Asian girls, right? And she wanted to relive this thing that she saw in her head and all of this stuff. And I was like, cool, that's a cool concept. So I had a small audition for just all Asian girls, people that I knew, and then some other people. And it wasn't through the agencies because she wanted it to be quiet as kept. So it's making the agencies a little nervous. They're like, why are you having this private audition and we don't know nothing about it? I'm going to stop it. Y'all, I think sometimes these agencies think they're the talent. But anyway, you know, I'm doing it, and then I put 4 stars next to the 4 girls that I thought would look good behind her, and then I did another batch of 4. And I said, if not, we can figure it out. So she looked at the 4 that I picked and said, perfect. Then she looked at the choreography and she said, exactly what I want. Great. So then it just snowballed into that first album, which is Love Angel Music Baby. And I remember she would have these crazy concepts, and she would tell me, and I'm going, that has nothing to do with hip hop. And I think, can your world mix with this world? And at the time, I didn't know if it was her game plan, but she was really challenging my creativity. She was really challenging me, to take, she respected the world of street dance and hip hop. And she first day I met her, she said, "Listen, don't try to choreograph me. I have an automatic eraser in my head." So I said, "Okay, cool. I just paint pictures around you. I just do all of that." And one day we was rehearsing one song, and I started recognizing every time on the chorus she does this silly little dance. So I called the dance. I was like, "Hey, see that step she keep doing every time the chorus come around in this song? Grab that." So I made them learn it. So I said, all right, let's run the whole thing from the top. We get to that part. I say, hey, yo, G, the first chorus, go to stage left and just, do your thing. So she walks over, stage left, the chorus comes, she starts doing this little silly dance. Now the dancers is doing it with her, and she stopped the music. How did you do that? How did you choreograph me? I said, I ain't choreograph you. She was like, you tricked me. I was like, nah. Every time I saw you doing that dance, I figured it's gonna stay there, so I might as well just make a picture out of it. And from that moment, my wheels was turning. How to get her somebody like her that was like, don't try to choreograph me. And then what happened was, as I was inspired because it worked, it actually made her say, well, let me try some little steps. Let me try to work hard to remember some stuff. And then, we go through then when I say, I think we need some b-boys that's going to take the show to the next level.
yeah.
What are b-boys? So, okay. Let me show you. So it was great to be able to teach her because she was like, you know, the guys that do the tricks. I said, don't say that. Those are b-boys. Don't just call them guys that do tricks or whatever. So it was great to be able to
Educate her too.
educate her. And then now when she's doing interviews and she has to speak on dance that's behind her, she know how to actually say it. So it's taking the real street dance world, putting it behind a huge pop artist, and now when she has to talk about it, she's opening up that knowledge to a whole fan
Yeah.
base.
What was the Asian group
The
called?
Harajuku girls.
Yeah, that's what it was called. Was
Yeah,
that I couldn't remember.
yeah,
I mean, again, I've been giving you flowers, but that was huge for me too. I could only imagine everyone from my era
yeah.
because I saw that you were able to implement street dance into these girls,
Hmm.
even popping.
Well, yeah.
Like I was like, who are these
What's
girls?
crazy is when I met the Electric Boogaloos, um, they had told me a lot of people in the industry be approaching them and yo, we want to do something, that industry talk or whatever. And I remember when I first met Skeeter Rabbit, rest in peace. I I said something to him. I said, "Yeah, I got something, but I'm not. I hit you when it's ready." And I got in the car and he stopped me and he said, "You're a street N word, right?" I was like, "Why you say that?" He said, "I can tell how you talk. You don't do a bunch of this really short words and use on your way." So I got a chance to build a relationship with them when I
It's
brought them
amazing.
in to teach Maya.
Of course you did.
You know what I'm saying? Because I said I don't pop, so I want y'all to give it to her. And from there, I started learning popping from them. And then it just spun into, oh, I got this Gwen thing. Um, Pete, I want me and you to do a song together. Skeet, I want me and you to do a song together. Pop, me and you gonna do a song together. Wigs, me and you gonna do a song together. And that's what helped me. And only the one that I wanted to get, he was unreachable at the time, was Sam, but I was able to get those four on certain songs on the tour. So it made the tour expand, the entertainment of it expand, because I was really trying, I really wanted to put as much street dance as possible on a huge stage behind a huge pop artist.
and show you did that. I mean, I want you to know from this is the first time I'm hearing you say the story, and you totally did that. You captivated me. I'm telling you, I had like the artist that I thought I would follow,
Uh-huh.
but she was the first one. I was like, whoa, these girls are popping. They're doing hip hop.
Yeah.
The guys are actually breaking.
Yeah.
Wow, like,
Yeah.
and Gwen's doing this. Like, who's the artist? And that's when I was doing my own research. And
Mhm.
believe it or not, when I clicked that together is when I started showing up to your classes. I had no idea. Because
Oh.
even in that sense, you kept it in the low low. You were not this choreographer in the forefront, like it's showtime.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
So you're trying to say Gwen brought us together?
Maybe, I guess. I'm going to call her G, unless you just said G. Nah, congrats, because
Yeah.
you definitely were able to do that. And that is huge, because everyone's trying to do that now.
Yeah.
And I can't say they are as successful. There was a raw element that you brought to it that was so pure and beautiful, and congrats to that.
Thank you.
Thank you
Appreciate it.
for also bringing the originators to be seen and to keep doing this kind of work.
Yeah.
You don't have to do that either.
Yeah.
And here you're opening doors for everyone. So big props to that. So listen, look, the hour's almost wrapping up, and I could talk to this man for another 2 hours. So there's gonna be part two and part three. I already committed you. But what I do want to maybe just to kind of close it in this sense, because we talk so much about this industry, you gave such in depth knowledge in the beginning,
Mhm.
and that's just wisdom, Moving forward, what advice, or not even just advice, but what do you want to say now that you've lived this experience with street dance, right? How do you maintain this love for street dance in the midst of also working in the industry? How do you balance it? What advice do you have for dancers? Because I think there's been many times where people feel they have to choose.
Mhm.
I think Sho is a perfect example of someone that has balanced it all.
Mhm.
How do you do it?
It's gonna always go back to why you're doing it. It's gonna always go back to that, and it's gonna always go back to um, if you love it or not. Because when you do it, you can see the things that you can do with it and how you can move it around in different venues of dance. Um, for me, it's just doing what that felt good in the muscle. So if it don't feel good in the muscle, then I'm forcing it, and I didn't take time to learn the industry like that to force that move. So I was just going off an impulse. This feels good, so just do it. You know what I'm saying? And then I started looking at how other people were staging stuff and moving things around, why stuff is memorable and whatever the case may be. But my advice to those that are trying to figure it out now, the first thing you got to figure out your why factor. You got to figure out why you're doing it and what's your life connection to it. Because when that is established, then you're not worried about how to be in the industry or in the street dance world. You're not worried. You're just letting your dance, okay, over here, it's in this venue. And then over here, it's in this venue. But I'm still the same person. You know what I'm saying? Like some people may have Nikes and Adidas in their closet. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, I do.
So, so it just really depends on how a person view the dance for themselves first before they go out and try to put it in a venue where it's going to be a lot of opinions. It's going to be a lot of different perspectives and all of that. It's really about what you want to do and what it means to you. So my advice is to tap into where is it sitting in you, and then you can go. I can go do that industry thing, but I'm not losing myself. You can be in the industry without becoming the industry. You can be in the street dance world without becoming street. You know what I'm saying? I think people are giving the wrong messages today. You gotta be this, you gotta be that. Really, dog? Was you really that? You know what I mean? Like, let's keep it a buck. Like, were you really that, or you just it's just lip service? You just trying to force somebody to see it in your own perspective. You don't need to be street to understand street dance. You don't need to become an industry person, to be in the industry. You know, and that starts with who are you in this art form. And if you don't know that, then you will blow with the wind. You will just be landing wherever you land and trying to figure it out.
Wow. Well, everybody, this is just a little sneak preview of our dear friend Sho-Tyme. Um, much love and respect for everything you've done.
Likewise,
I know this
likewise.
is just a snippet. Notice
Oh
how
man.
time went fast. You're like,
Yeah.
what, we're done
Yeah,
already?
yeah, yeah.
There's so many aspects of conversations that I definitely want to save, and I hope I think you're coming back to LA a lot more because we
Yeah.
miss you out here in LA.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
didn't even get to talk to how you got to New York to LA.
Yeah.
We will save that for the next one,
Yeah.
but thank you
Thank
and
you.
much admiration and respect for everything you're doing, and that you still continue. He's still doing it,
Hmm.
and that's I think because, like you say, you know your wife factor.
Yeah.
So
Hey, you know what I also want to say?
please,
You
you
know,
can close it
I
up.
really respect you.
Thank you.
I do. I respect you, and I understand that you kind of feel some sort of way about me and Bree's relationship.
Hey, he only texts Breeze, everybody, not
So,
me. Hey, seriously, welcome to our Legends and
thank you.
Legacy
Thank you
podcast.
for having
We
me.
look forward to having you again, and
Love
thank you
it.
for at
Would
least
love
teaching
to.
us a little bit of snippet of your world and
Yeah, yeah.
industry and street dance. I walked away already with so many lessons. I could make 5 shirts already.
There you go.
So thank you, and let's keep moving forward with grace
Yes.
and love.
Would love to come back and spit some more stuff with you. But
Great,
thank you for having me.
great. Thank you, everybody. See
Thank
you
you.
in the next one.